But professional networking really hasn't evolved too much. It's just been LinkedIn, and they've dominated the whole space for the most part. And we believe that that needs to change, and people want to make the change. They're waiting for something to catch on.
Hey everybody, Tanner here with WAGMI Ventures. On today's episode, we have Michael Marra, founder and CEO of Entre. For anyone who's new, this is the WAGMI Ventures podcast, where we do company snapshots with interesting founders from across Web3. Check out wagmiventures.io to learn more about the syndicate behind the podcast. But for now, let's get into it with Michael from Entre. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here today with Michael Marra, founder and CEO of Entre. Michael, how's it going today?
What's up, Tanner? I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing really good. I'm excited to chat today, and I know we have a lot to talk about. So let's jump in. I like to always start just a little bit more about kind of your story and how you got to what you're working on now with Entre.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely wasn't a straight line path, to say the least. My background's actually in civil engineering. That's what I went to school for. And after about like a year of doing that, I just became super interested in entrepreneurship as a whole. And first was like investing, and I got into just like stocks and then real estate. And that kind of led me down this whole entrepreneurial journey that eventually led me into tech and into building out what was initially this, community of entrepreneurs. And now that has expanded into, this modern professional network, which is Entre. So yeah, it was a little bit all over the place. And it was something that it took probably, 7 years of just like a lot of trial and error, a lot of ups and downs. But at the end of the day, it was mainly just like a drive to connect with other like-minded people and build out a new community in a sense, and now just a new way of, how people can connect and work online and together. And obviously, one of the reasons why we're talking, which is Web3 and the exciting new world of crypto, we started integrating that and a lot of Web3 functionality last year, which has, taken hold of, a big part of our platform now. And we're really excited to be, the leader in Web3 professional networking and talent and all of that, and continue moving this industry forward as well.
Yeah, I love it. So for anyone who's not familiar, could you just talk about what is Entre and what are you guys building over there?
Yeah, for sure. It's so, like I was saying, it started really from as this entrepreneurial community. When I was starting out, I didn't know any other entrepreneurs, and I was very I was kind of just off on my own. I was getting into tech without ever being in tech, without ever working at a startup, without ever working at a tech company. And I just wanted to meet people. And as we started doing events, we partnered with all the major co-working spaces. We partnered with Microsoft, and we ended up starting to do, 10 events a month across 12 different cities in the US. And then as that community grew, we realized that we could build this into an app and really create a unique experience for entrepreneurs, but also expand on that and create, basically this new alternative to LinkedIn, and add in some software and some functionality that doesn't exist. And especially with Web3, being able to sign up and log in with your crypto wallets and do transactions with crypto is extremely important. So where we're at now is this new modern professional network that is Web3 enabled and has all the software baked into it that you'll need to work online, to network with people, You can do your virtual meetings through our platform. You can do virtual events. You can do live streaming. You can build a community just like Slack and Discord, or work with your team if you wanted to keep it private. All the things that people are using on a daily basis to meet new people and work online, you can do now through our app on mobile and web for free, basically.
Yeah, super interesting. So, situate us in history just a little bit here. When I think of how kind of Web3 is traditionally built relationships, I think of some kind of constellation of like, all right, Discord, Twitter, Telegram, right?
Yep,
So, I guess I'm curious, how has Web3 traditionally built relationships and collaborated thus far, and then how is Entre changing that specifically? You mentioned this. You mentioned a couple pieces already, but I'm curious, sort of that
for
bigger
sure.
that bigger picture.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, not just Web3 networking, but just like online networking as a whole. It's just all over the place, but especially Web3 networking. It's, it's very messy and very disorganized, as we like to say. A lot of people are using Twitter. A lot of people are using Discord. A lot of people are using Telegram, and all of these platforms offer little pieces of the puzzle, but it's very hard to keep up with everything, and they don't all provide the same like unique solution together, right? You have to use all of them in tandem, and it's pretty frustrating and annoying, to be honest, at least from my perspective, and then a lot of other people that are part of Entre and are joining are finding as well. So we want this to be something where not only do you like get access to create content and share what you're working on, ask questions and stuff like you can on Twitter and whatnot, but if you want to build out a community, you can do that as well. And by letting people build out profiles, you're not dealing with spam and bots and all of this stuff that has made Discord really not necessarily unusable, but it's very noisy on there.
Right.
Telegram can be great, but it's really a group chat, and you're really limited with functionality, so it's hard to build community out there. And then most of these people are also hosting virtual events or in-person events, and then they're using other platforms for that. And then when they meet someone at a conference, they also connect on LinkedIn, and then they send a follow-up email, and then they do a follow-up meeting on Zoom or Google Meet or something like that. So there's no like Web3 real like video meeting software yet either. So that's another like kind of piece of this puzzle too. So how we've built this out is there's really like four main levels to like professional networking and community. So there's like the social layer where you meet people at events or you meet people on a social app and platform. The second is you meet people in a community, right? So you're part of a community or you build a community, and this is mainly on Discord, right now. And then after that, as you start getting to know people or you message them back and forth, you set up a call, you schedule a call with them, or you do a call, and then you usually do that either on Google Meet or Zoom or just a phone call. And then the fourth layer is, well, now that I've done that and I want to work with this person, how do I add them into my team communication channel and actually continue that conversation, that follow up? So what we're doing is like just streamlining that whole thing and allowing people to do it with their crypto wallets. And because we're cross chain, you can sign up with anything and use that. And because it's a professional network, people are building out profiles. We're verifying people. You can see soon we're going to have where you can basically view everyone's NFTs and proof of attendance protocols and their credentials and all the things that they've done on the blockchain on their profiles as well. So you can see reputation really easily and proof of work, which is really important as well.
Super interesting. You mentioned earlier LinkedIn is kind of this Web 2 sort of analog. And I guess I'm curious because I think for a lot of people in tech and outside of tech, uh, when they think of a professional network online, LinkedIn's probably who they think of, right? And so I'm curious, how are you thinking about what to keep and what to innovate upon from kind of their category defining product and example?
Yeah, it's something that we're we're approaching this as I mean, we don't think that LinkedIn is going anywhere for probably a long time. Um, and it's not necessarily something that we're going to be competing basically indirectly, not just with LinkedIn, but with all the social apps, and with attention at the end of the day. There's a lot of apps out there. There's a lot of things that people are doing, and no matter what, we need to figure out how we can provide enough value and a great user experience for people to spend time on Entra instead of these other apps. And how we go about that is looking at what are people currently using, um, and where we believe that we can add the most value and create a better product and experience for people to not use what they're currently using, and instead use us. And by looking at the entire flow of how people are not networking professionally, but also working professionally in the modern world, um, we're kind of piecing a few of these things together. So we're following in LinkedIn's footsteps a lot. Like we're replicating a lot of the things that they are doing, but just adding our own spin to it, and baking in what we kind of look at as more software into our product that people can replace the expensive existing software that they're paying for, like Zoom and Google Meet and Slack and Discord and Calendly and some of these other software services that people are already using and will very likely continue to use for a very long time as work becomes more remote and digital and online. So it's looking at LinkedIn right now is a very powerful tool for researching people, looking people up, recruiting, and sales. But it's not great for like running the team, doing virtual
Right.
meetings, networking, and all of those things. So we're focusing on those, which we believe is the low hanging fruit and where we can really add the most value, and let LinkedIn continue doing the things that they're doing that we are going to have a very hard time of beating them at.
Super interesting. Yeah. So, from your vantage point, how do people need to think differently about their professional network in Web3 as opposed to kind of whether it's Web 2 or even outside of tech? Like, what can they get wrong if they bring a more traditional mindset to Web3?
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Web3 is people are genuinely connecting. And one of the biggest issues with LinkedIn right now is that everything's very transactional on there. At least for like cold outreach, it's very like, people are just trying to get you to sign up for stuff, or it's very sales oriented for the most part and transactional. Like people aren't really trying to network and build genuine connections and just like meet people for the sake of meeting people and make new friends and go to events together and build community together. That's not really the vibe on LinkedIn. And it's generally skews much older than the younger crowd. So if you look at how social networking has evolved over the last 20 years, it's gone from MySpace to Facebook to Instagram to TikTok to Snapchat. Now you have Be Real. But professional networking really hasn't evolved too much. It's just been LinkedIn, and they've dominated the whole space for the most part. And we believe that needs to change, and people want to make the change. They're waiting for something to catch on, and they want to make more genuine connections, and they want it to feel more like a community rather than a platform, and rather than a social network, if you will. So for us, I think It's enabling people to make more genuine connections and make like help people get matched and facilitate connections based on interests around topics and industries and locations and things like that to provide a better way for people to meet the people that they're trying to meet, and also in a more real way, whether that's in person events, whether that's virtual events, or whether that's through content and communities on Entra.
Super interesting. Yeah. So, what advice would you have for founders building in the Web3 space based on your experience with Entra thus far?
Can you say that one more time? Sorry.
Oh yeah. Just what advice would you have for founders building in the Web3 space based on your experience with Entra thus far?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone hears it a lot about like providing utility. But I mean, I think that's what everyone's really at the end of the day looking for. It's like providing value. If you're not providing real value, and we've seen this the last, basically 6 to 12 months, is all of the products and projects in Web3 that haven't really been providing too much value, or were just built on hype and don't have any real utility. They're getting wiped out, right?
Right.
And I think it's good for the industry as a whole, to be honest, because like it needed a kind of a reset there to get through a lot of the BS that was in the space, and to make it actually real and people doing real projects that were providing value. So we've been always approaching it from value first, utility first. How can we help people do the things that they want to do easier and faster, and help people do the things that they're already doing easier and faster and cheaper too? Provide them value at a lower cost, and allow them to do the things that they really want to do within this space. So as a founder, it's like looking at the space from a holistic view, understanding the pain points or some of the barriers in the industry, understanding the things that people are struggling with or that are difficult to do right now that people want to do or that are already doing, where there's some basically there's that margin there that you can attack, and or transform old Web 2 industries into Web 3. And I think it's going to be, this stuff is going to take time. It's going to be, an ongoing thing for probably at least the next 3 to 5 years, really, before companies start really hitting their strides in this space, I think. But right now it's the time to build. It's the time to do all this stuff, because there's going to be massive industry defining companies, that are building right now in the crypto and blockchain industry, that are going to be around for a very, very long time, and they're going to be very large.
Yeah, I totally agree, actually. So maybe just wrapping up here, I'm curious, what are you guys working on right now at Entra, and what's the best way for people to follow along the journey?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of big updates coming out by the time that this is live. Community should be out, which is going to be huge. We just rolled out video posting, so you can post video content on mobile and web, short form and long form content. There's a lot of things that we're diving deeper into, especially our marketplace and the recruiting aspect of this, and helping people find opportunities at awesome Web3 and tech companies, DAOs, all of that, people who want to work in Web3. We're building out a massive talent pool now, and we're working with all the big Web3 and crypto and blockchain companies on, helping fill roles as well. And yeah, I mean, it's free to join. We have a mobile and a web app. If you just search Entre, ENTRE, in the app stores, you'll find it first. And if you go to joinentre.com, you can sign up on web for free as well with your crypto wallets if you want. But you can also sign up with email if you don't prefer to link your wallet right away. And yeah, I mean, it's something that there's a lot of functionality and things to do on the platform. So, almost everyone will have things there for them to do, whether they're a job seeker, whether they're hiring, whether they're looking to network and meet people, whether they're looking to build and host a community or creating content to grow a new following on a new channel. And in the Web3 space, there's almost something for everyone that will add value to them. So we'd love to have anyone check it out and pop over there and let me know if there's anything that we can do to help as well. We're very active within the community and engage a lot with our community members.
Love it. Well, Michael, thank you so much for the time. I'm excited to kind of keep watching what Entre is building and just follow along myself. So really appreciate the time and chance to get to chat here.
Likewise. Yeah, appreciate it, Tanner. And looking forward to talking again soon, and appreciate all the things that you're doing within the Web3 space as well.
Perfect. All right, man. Take care.